Hey everybody, what's going on? Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody is doing well. And we got some awful news yesterday in regards to the Death Scourge event. Found out that we're gonna have to use Minion characters in order to be able to ultimately get Archangel. And didn't want to make a rage video about it because I feel like those aren't necessarily really helpful. This one, I needed some time to process the information and then be able to put together my thoughts. And really, I wanted to talk about in this video is like the real issue behind minions being required for Archangel. But just in case you did miss it, yesterday we got this blog post, Death Scourge event details. They detailed out some stuff here, and then they showed us this table, right, which shows us what we're gonna need for the other nodes for the Death Scourge event. So as you can see, from difficulty 1 all the way to difficulty 10, for nodes 1 and 2, you're going to need to use Minion characters in order for you to be able to complete those nodes, which is definitely disappointing if you ask me. They're also detailed out that they're going to be adding some new Scourges. Some of these Scourges that they're going to be adding are also going to give some buffs and boosts as well to Minion characters if you kind of care about that thing. But what I really wanted to dive into, like I said, is really kind of just the real issue that is there with minions being required for Archangel. And in order for us to really be able to assess that, we kind of have to go back to the first blog post that where we found out about sagas and awakened abilities and what's going to be required in order for you to be able to unlock Apocalypse, right? So this was back in July 19th of this year, so a few months back, where we detailed out that we're going to be getting sagas, and this is how you're going to be able to unlock Apocalypse, and then the requirements, right? So you're going to need these teams. So Morgan Le Fay's team for Pestilence, so her and then her Darkhold team. You're gonna need Rogue and her Unlimited X-Men team. We didn't know this at this time, but you're gonna need Red Hulk and his Gamma team. You're gonna need Archangel and his Dead Sea team. And then they also mentioned here as well for Apocalypse and his saga that you're gonna need all 4 horsemen, the respective teams, and then several other additional characters in order to be able to unlock Apocalypse. So if we're kind of doing the math on that, right, the horsemen and then their teams, that's 20 characters. But then it doesn't just stop there, right? Because for each individual Scourge event, you will need to be able to invest into certain Scourge teams in order to be able to unlock that legendary character, right? So you will need either your Web Warriors for your Pestilence Scourge event. You're going to need your Young Avengers for your Famine Scourge event. You will need your Hero as Guardians for War. And we thought we were really only going to need our Bionic Avengers or Wakandans or whatever, right, for your Death Scourge event. And some players I know do push typically a lot, build 2 teams. I know, for instance, there were players who built not just Web Warriors, but they also built Dark Hunters. There were players who I know who built their A-Force and then also built their Young Avengers teams, right? So when you kind of add it all up, you're talking about 20 characters at a bare minimum just for the horsemen and their teams, and then at least 20 characters for Scourge, and then some can do 30 characters, 40 characters if they're trying to build 2 teams to do these optimal Scourge runs, right? So that's 40 in total, but could even be up to 60 characters in total that you're looking at here, depending on how some people go towards these Scourge events, which I'll say, by the way, just to interject and talk about that here, I don't know if it really makes sense to try to build out 2 teams for these Scourge events anymore, because of the frequency of which they're bringing back these Scourge events. For instance, like Famine Scourge event just got announced that that's going to be coming back for Rogue here, right? We just had a 4th run of Morgan Le Fay's Scourge event, so I'm not quite sure anymore, guys, if it's necessary to try to go hard and build out multiple teams for Scourge. Just get more shards on the next run, right? It's kind of what it kind of looks like at this point moving forward here. But of course, they also mentioned Apocalypse and several other additional characters. Now, we don't know who those additional characters are going to be. There's Spider Weaver, who's currently confirmed right now, and that's like, we've been asking questions like, who else is coming? Is it going to be new characters? Are going to be rework characters? I kind of feel like, based on what they've done with the other Scourge, other teams, that there's probably going to be maybe 2 characters that probably get a rework, or 2 characters that are already in the game, and then maybe 3 new characters, so 1 already being Spider Weaver. That's probably my thought on it. I could be wrong, whatever, who knows, we'll have to see. They're not really telling us exactly what's going on there. But then there's also the gear tier requirements that are involved too, but of course the additional characters will just be additional characters. There's also the gear tier requirements, right? So for specifically for Apocalypse, For difficulty 2, in order to be able to unlock him, just to get Baby Apocalypse, which I think is going to be fine. I think that's what a lot of people are shooting for, is getting Baby Apocalypse, not getting Big Daddy Apocalypse here. Gear tier 16 is going to be a requirement for those specific characters. And then ISO Blue 4, right? And ISO Blue 4, that's a tall task, right? Because it's expensive. You're not getting a lot of those resources. Usually raids we thought were probably the most important game mode. Now like Cosmic Crucible and War are kind of still important because you do need those blue 4 ions in order to be able to upgrade your character. So things are getting dicey where that's concerned. Also, don't forget that they've kind of moved the goalposts as it pertains to coordinated assault. Like a month or two ago, right, they moved the numbers up to where you're no longer kind of, my daughter's coming into the room too, so just in case you see me like get a little distracted, but you're talking about a coordinated assault, which about a month or two back or so, they moved the goalpost a little bit to where you have to get all the way to the last milestone in order to be able to get those last sort of blue ISO 4 ions that are required. So all these things considered, right, guys, it's like in prep for Death Scourge, the question was, you know, if we're just looking at the specific Death Scourge, it was, okay, well, do you need Bionic Avengers or do you need Wakandas? And only to see this blog post that then talks about the fact that you now will also need minions in order to be able to complete it. And it's just a very tough pill to swallow. Like, let's take a look at my current roster if we want to do sort of like a comparison. Now, I am not I'm end game, but I wouldn't consider myself to be super end game here. What's up, baby? That he's doing a video. So I wouldn't consider myself, say hi. Say hi. So I wouldn't consider myself to be a super end game player here, but I would say that, you know, I'm end game enough, right? 24 million TCP here. This is my current roster where I have like these characters here, 80, like right characters at 85. I'm building up Psylocke right now. I have my other characters at gear tier 16. Other characters here at gear tier 16. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pause and we'll come right back. All right, guys, we're back. It's Saturday, daddy duty's call, right? So listen, what I will say is that this is my current roster, right? And this is I would say the right characters built up, the right ones that are being used. Web Warriors, there's Rogue, there's, you know, characters I'm using for raids. And then let's go to my Minions roster, which I think is gonna be telling and probably where a lot of you guys are going to end up being, right? If you look at my Minions roster, some characters I haven't even ranked up to 5 stars or 6 stars or whatever, right? This is probably similar to what your Minions look like, and you're probably saying, Goofy, man, you actually got some characters that I probably wouldn't even have at over 50k. Like, this is the only Minion that I currently have over 50k right now at 53,000. My Merc Riot Guard, and a lot of that has to do with red stars, and I think he's at gear tier 12, I believe, or gear tier 11, because I was using him in some juncture, right? No one over 50k, no reason to invest into any of these characters. And when you look at difficulty 8 requirements for, or not requirements, or recommendations for these Scourge events, right? If we jump back to the Morgan Le Fay Scourge event, this was the difficulty, or what they recommended. For difficulty 8, you needed gear tier set. They were saying that they were recommending using gear tier 17 characters. Now, we know the truth about this is that for difficulty 8, you actually can get away with gear tier 15 characters. If you get them to like level 80 or level 85, you're usually fine with gear tier 15 characters. Of course, having higher gear makes it a lot easier, especially when you start equipping Scourges, but usually gear tier 15 is okay. But usually those characters that you're bringing to gear tier 15 that are doing this content are characters that have higher stats, or are newer characters that have better stats, or characters that have gotten reworks that have better stats, right? In order for you to be able to do that content. This is not going to be possible. Even if I choose to start investing into some of these Minion characters, it's not going to be possible for me to be able to realistically, and a lot of players are in this boat, to realistically invest into Minion characters to get it done. Also, trying to bring Minions up to gear tier 15 is such a waste of resources, right? You're wasting origin gear, you're wasting catalyst, there's so much gear that you're wasting in order to be able to do this. Add on to the fact that you also probably just invested into your Bionic Avengers or your Wakandans to be able to do this content. Now to find out you're also going to need to invest into Minions, it's just a tough pill to swallow. Now, Ravagers, you may say, are useful. You can actually use them for this. You can see where my Ravagers are. I've completely skipped reworking them because they're not a great team. They're a war team, but they're not like a top tier war team. So I've never invested into the Ravagers. Also, it's only 3 characters. Only 3 of the Ravagers are minions. So who are you going to use for your other 2 minions? So there's only going to be players who have invested into minion characters in order to be able to do this. Now, there may be a rework coming at some point in time. Maybe AIM gets a rework, because I feel like that's been sort of like on the horizon. Tana made a video talking about how there's like tech gear in the month-long event, and usually that's an indication that the next patch that there's going to be characters that are going to get reworked, right? But we don't know that for sure. Maybe they'll rework AIM, but if they rework AIM, then does that mean that AIM is going to be a top tier team, or are they just going to be mediocre at best? And then now we're forced to upgrade these characters. To me, there's nothing good about minions being required for this event. And it just compounds the issue of already having to invest into so many other things, bring in so many other characters to gear tier 15, to then also have to then bring characters like this. And for you, it may not be gear tier 15, it may be gear 12, it may be gear 10, but either way, you're gonna have to invest into other invest into minions when you have other characters that require that same gear. It's going to be very taxing on your roster. So in my opinion, this is very frustrating. I would say this, by the way, do not invest into minions as of yet. Don't heart anybody, don't favorite anybody, don't invest into your Ravagers. Wait. Continue to boost up your Wakandans or your Bionic Avengers if you need to. I would say that's probably a better bet. Probably just Bionic Avengers for raids, and just skip Wakandans if you don't really care about these high Scourge runs. Just invest into those, and then skip invest into minions yet, and see what happens. See what happens next patch. Archangel's Death Scourge event probably won't be until January, possibly, right? So give yourself some time. You don't need to go out of your way investing into it right now. That would be sort of just my recommendation. But what are your thoughts, guys? I think this has kind of just ruined, in my opinion, the excitement for Apocalypse. It kind of just adds on just more. It doesn't feel as fun, right? And in a game that you're playing, you want to have fun because it's a game that you're playing, right? So it's a game, you know, so you want to be able to have fun. It's kind of also ruining the excitement for Archangel as well. I don't know, man. I think about things like this, and I'm like, at the end of the day, are we having fun? Is this fun? They're concerned about money and inline and profit, and that's okay. I think that they should be concerned about profit, but I do believe that they're also missing out on opportunities to make more profit by simply just not doing right by the players and not thinking about the impact and how players will feel. And when you might say, well, who cares about how you feel? It's business. It's a game. No, it's a game. It's all about feel, guys. It's all about how you feel when you're in an experience that you're having. So, all right, guys, want to know what your thoughts are. Appreciate you watching the video. Until next time, guys, let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. Commenting, liking, all that stuff helps out the YouTube algorithm. Share the video, you know, if you like the insights that I have here as well, guys. So appreciate you watching the video, and until next time, guys, we gonna be all right. It's Kendrick Lamar said we gonna be all right, right? All right, listen, love y'all. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. Bye. Man, these people are crazy. Minions. Are they crazy? Minions? At least give me Taserface. Good God. Taserface.